So good morning, this is Dr. Kathy, and it is July 2nd. I say this so often, but I am still amazed at how quickly this year is going, at least for me. For some of you, it may be going slowly, but it's going very, very quickly for me. So for those who missed last week, I was in Hawaii with my sisters. Well, we always call us the sisters, but one of them is a sister-in-law. But we like to give her a week away from our brother. So we had a very good time. But I wanted to share something with you about my trip. I had a very moving and fascinating experience. My sister Anna and I went to Pearl Harbor. And for those who, I know there's some here that are not from the United States, if you're not familiar with Pearl Harbor, I was talking to a friend of mine from Australia, and she wasn't that familiar with US history. But Pearl Harbor is the place in Hawaii where on December 7th, I think it was 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and it was the incident that put the United States in World War II. And one of the things that was bombed, I mean, lots of battleships, but there's a ship called the Arizona that went down, and I think they said like 8 minutes, it was totally down. And Anna and I went over to the Arizona, and I knew that there would be spirits there, and I was willing to do some spirit release work while I was there. And what was amazing was that as soon as I stepped on the deck of the little memorial that they built where you can go in, and the memorial is, if you take the ship long lengthwise, the memorial is, what do you call it, vertical to it, you know, it forms this little thing, so it goes across it. And I stepped on it, and I had in my mind's eye came about 20 sailors that were in perfect formation, and they were marching, and they were getting ready to leave the ship and go into the light. And there is a place on the Arizona where it lists all the men that were killed. And then there are many of the survivors who have since passed on, asked to be interred with their comrades. So those names were there also. And I was looking at this list of 800 or 900 men, looking for who was the commanding officer, and I found a rear admiral who was there, and I asked if I could speak with him. And he popped right in, and he was in his dress uniform also, getting ready to send his sailors off, ready that we're going to go into the light. And I had a fascinating discussion with him. And what I was told several things is that, number one, the sailors who go into the light, all of them know that they're going to go into the light, all the ones that are there. The sailors that leave and go into the light are the ones who no longer have family members who remember them dearly. It's like they're, you know, maybe they know, oh yes, there was great grandpa that did this. Some of them might be a great grandparent, but the great uncle or something like that. And one of the things we were told by the park rangers actually are the ones that manage Pearl Harbor, but the ones that ferry the boat back and forth are sailors, US sailors. And they told us that the Arizona is still visited frequently throughout the year by family members that come by, and it could be, you know, the great nieces and nephews or the great grandkids or something like that. And so they were asking us to be very respectful. But what was interesting was when he said, it's when there is no one left upon the planet who is still actively mourning the sailor, that they then leave and go to the light. But they stay there while there is still somebody coming to mourn them. And it was like they were there to be there and accept the love that they were being given. So I asked the admiral, why was he still there? And he said, I will be here as long as any of my crew is here, and I will go with the last group. And I get teary just thinking about it, but it was such a moving experience for me. They don't need somebody like me to go in and do spirit release with them. They've got their own thing that they're doing. And this is how they're doing it. They will be there and then they will go. They all know that they are going to go. And it gave me a whole different view of why some people stay. And, you know, I'm talking about souls that have, whose bodies have already died, why some people stay. And it was just a beautiful experience to be able to connect with them in that way and to honor those who were leaving that day. So I just wanted to share that with you because there is so much that we can do as living bodies upon this work, upon this earth, to send love to people in all different forms, whether they're what I used to call them people who have lost their way, the spirits that haven't gone on. But these men, they had not lost their way. They had another reason for being there. And so I just wanted to share that with y'all. So with that said, heart source. Connect with your healing team. Command your chakras to spin as fast as they can, as fast as is safe for you. The whole purpose is to bring in energy to clear out the congestion within your chakras. And if you are, sometimes people try to make this more difficult than it is, just say chakra spin as fast as is safe for me. And inhale gently but deeply, and exhale gently but deeply, and bringing in light from above and below. And just allow that energy to leave you. You can also add healing team. Please remove any artificial encodements holding in any congestion. Healing team, please repair any damaged or altered natural encodements holding in any congestion. And soul healing team, please find and bring back to me any parts of myself that are missing, that are holding in congestion, and clean, repair, and heal them and fully integrate them within me. There you go. Something got returned to me. I wasn't expecting it, but that was cool. And now ask your heart source to please extend to either the 7th layer of your aura, or when you hold your hands out, you know, parallel to the floor, to the furthest reaches of your fingertips, whichever is larger. So you're expanding that. And now say, I am the sword. I am the sword. That's from Michael the Archangel. If you have not received the sword, if you don't know that, didn't realize you could be the sword, simply call upon Michael the Archangel to be with you. Do that now. And it's always fun to do it again because he always puts his sword in your hand. Then extend your dominant hand. I'm right-handed. And ask him if you may have the sword, and you will. Many people feel, I do, I feel the hilt of the sword into my hands, and just grab the, you know, hold the hilt of the sword and just move it in front of you, point up. And then place it within your heart. And now anytime you want to activate the sword, just simply say, I am the sword. And your whole body becomes the the sword. It can be a fingertip, it can be a micron. The sword can be a micron long. So if you need to clear something in your body that's a micron, or it could be miles long. And I just heard Michael say it could be light years long if you were moving into doing work in another galaxy, for instance. There's all kinds of fun things that you can do with it. And each time we do this, we're strengthening the aura, we're strengthening your energy field. And the last thing that we're going to do is to say, great, forgot it, violet flame. It's in the back of the front of your, the very back of the front, if that makes sense, of your third eye. It's right there, ready to be activated. Violet flame, activate around the 7th layer of my aura. Now, I was working with somebody earlier in the week, and she said, can we make this a plugin? And yes, you could make this a plugin and use whatever name that you want to use. So that in a nanosecond, if you recognize that there is something around you, like you're getting ready to walk into a very tense situation, which could be people who are angry, or you're walking into a hospital, which has all kinds of energy swirling around you. If you're walking onto the Arizona on Pearl Harbor or anything like that, use whatever word you associate with that, and just come up with one in your mind that you can just say, like we say heart source, and the heart source immediately goes. Whatever that word is that you wish, it would activate the plug-in of being in your heart source, expanding the heart source to the furthest reaches of either your aura or your fingertips, activating the sword and activating the violet flame. All of those are protections for you. Okay, I hope each one of you have your word or symbol or whatever it is. The thing we want is that, as soon as you think, I need to activate, and you say it will activate. You don't need to go through the steps. So you can just say that. It could be something as simple as protection, and that where you can just say protection as soon as you notice, in a nanosecond. And the way to be sure that this happens easily is for you to practice this when you don't need it. Practice it when you don't need it. Make it a habit to, whenever you get in your car or on the bus or the subway, wherever you are, whenever you walk into a store, whenever you walk into another building, you can even practice it whenever you move from one space in your house to another. That's why military practice and march and do all of this stuff to be ready so it can happen immediately. And of course, how we're doing it is to practice in such a way that we are protected and that we can do things without violence. As Amos says, be the calm within the storm. And when we're the calm within the storm, we are the one anchoring the space where others who are in fear, we're not allowing that fear to come into us. And hopefully what happens is people feel our calmness in whatever crisis it is. Okay, good. Now, let us form our healing lecture room. Now, we've done this often. For those of you who have been with me since the beginning of the Sunday ceremonies, which we began on Easter Sunday, the first year of COVID. It's like, oh, we need to gather together. That was me talking. And so that's the very first one we had. And of course, I was gone for a few months when I was on the sabbatical. And we have constructed the healing lecture room each time, but you can just say healing lecture room, and it will form the floor of light below you, the canopy of light above you, the 4 pillars in the corner of the room, the healing lecture room, which could be infinite. And all of the angels come and go from pillar to pillar to pillar to pillar. Again, this is another form of protection from you. When I am driving cross country, and I could do it at any time, I ask for this structure to completely sit on my car, surround my car, and I even give the directions on a diagonal 6 inches from each bumper. Please extend that long so nothing will come to me that will come into me. And I've had some remarkable experiences of being safe, which could have just wiped me off the face of the earth because of accidents. And it's fascinating to see what can happen. So we do ask that, and then there is the central pillar, in which come all kinds of wonderful and amazing and beautiful beings. And each of you can experience something different with the central pillar, your favorite spiritual beings that come in. And I always give the ones that I see, but that doesn't mean that there aren't others that come in. So leading the procession, the entrance procession, leading the entrance procession for me is Yeshua and Buddha. And they come in with great joy in their hearts. And following them for me, and it can be different for you, is Mother Mary and Kuan Yin and White Buffalo Calf Woman. Today, Athena is coming in. Mary of Magdala. Oh, this is interesting. Ruth. Those of you who may not know Ruth, this is the Ruth of the Hebrew scriptures. She is there, who had great commitment to her mother-in-law after her husband died. Metatron has decided to show himself. I don't usually get the archangels coming in, but Metatron has shown himself. There is Dwakul, who is coming in, and the Chohans of the various rays are all coming in. And all of these energies, plus more, are in the central pillar, just sending their energy of love out into all of us. I'm just getting a sense of all of that wonderful energy. And overlighting, enfolding our healing lecture room is the energy of both Amma and Abba, the feminine and masculine aspects of God. And when I talk about Amma and Abba, I'm talking about them from the sense of the Jewish mysticism of the Kabbalah, the tree of life. And at the very top of Kether and the tree of life is the undifferentiated God. And the first differentiation of God is right below that in Binah and Hakma. And Binah holds Amma, and Hakma holds Abba. So we are being enfolded, the whole healing lecture room. And now stepping forward, he has started stepping forward for the last few months, is Hilarion, who is the Chohan, the master, the Lord, the head honcho of the ray of healing, which is the 5th ray of healing. And he is asking us in our 3rd dimensional selves to move into the center circle. And our soul self, which is what Amma uses for higher self, she tries to avoid hierarchical terminology because us humans are so involved with hierarchy, or on the outer rim. But our healing team, except for our soul self, is with us. And now, if you wish, you may unmute yourself and say who else you want to bring into the healing circle besides yourself. I already have one email from someone, so if nobody speaks up, I'm going to speak up for her.
I'd like to put in my friend's husband who was just diagnosed with 2 different kinds of cancer, and my daughter's friend who has just found out that her melanoma has come back and traveled, and she's in stage 4.
Okay, thank you. Ann, did I see you unmute?
Yes, I'd like to put in Debbie Abner, who's just lost her partner, her partner Fred.
Thank you. You know, and with them, and let's go ahead and put in my sister who lost her husband, gosh, about 18 months ago, Michelle, who lost her husband, I guess it's been about a year now. A friend, Barbara, who lost her husband a few months ago. And anybody else that are here, if you want to speak of Anne, she's not here, but she's a member of our group who lost her husband a few months ago. Anyone else? Okay, and I received an email from Michelle, and for her friend Richard, who has a heart pump, he's falling a lot, so balance is a problem. Glory, who has had a stroke, and it's giving her aphasia where she can't find her words. And Barbara G, who is in a rehab hospital from frozen shoulders and a brain bleed. And of course, she wants healing. And I think we're all this way. She wants healing of all aspects of herself, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, along with the bladder vivaxis. Vivaxis means changing the position. We want to bring that bladder up without surgery. Population as a whole, tolerance and appreciation for the differences we all have, and understanding that everyone is just like us because we are perfect and we would have a delightful way to live. Karen, did I see you unmute?
Yes, I just wanted to embrace all the patients on the 14th floor of the James Cancer Center that we lived with for the past 3 weeks. Many lovely people walking very difficult journeys. So even though we are home, they are not, but we hope they will be home very soon.
And we put your husband, Joe, in the middle of the healing circle, and Karen and I have a mutual friend, Joe W. We're putting him also in the healing circle. He has prostate cancer.
Yes, thank you.
And we put Karen, all of your family who's gathering, and your friends who are supporting this. And I put Terry, Joe's wife, in there. And Terry Boudreau, I just realized that we need to put you in the healing circle because of your loss of precious Dave. I always am honored that Terry's husband, Dave, thought I was one of his wife's easiest friends, or however he would put it, Terry. So that's good. Oh, and my brother. How could I forget my brother who has terminal cancer? I'd also like to put in people who have Alzheimer's, dementia. My father's been diagnosed with the beginnings of dementia, and their caretakers. Anyone else in any other way? Okay. And so now, Hilarion is asking all of you to look right behind you. And that's metaphorical, but look right behind you. And there is a green jade, instead of a chair, which he usually puts us in, table, that he is asking you to lie down on. And everyone in the healing lecture room is now in this wonderful space with this table. and healing teams of all of us, we ask you to use whatever type of machine you have, like an energetic MRI, to find the places where there is congestion in our bodies, be it emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically, and release that congestion. We ask also Amma and Abba to fill the emptiness once the congestion is released, to fill that space with healing love. We ask you to remove any guilt that anyone who is ill has. Many times people will say, well, this was in repayment for something they did in their childhood or something they feel shame about. Kind of like, well, this is karma. And, that's not how God works. So remove any guilt or shame that may be felt. Remove the victim consciousness that comes from asking why. Why did this happen? That's a victim consciousness thing, even though we want to know why, right? And now coming into each one of us is from the blue flame, the first flame, the first ray, which is blue, and it is the will of God, the trust. And it has a lot to do with trust, to just go with the flow. It's kind of a statement that means much more than what it says. It sounds kind of trite, but to place our hands, ourselves, our bodies totally within the hands of God, and to be as Yeshua, not my will, but thine be done. And Amma, I ask you for each one of us here, for everyone within our healing circle, to pull us into your lap and hold us as your precious children, and fill us with your love. And Hilarion says that the love is going to continue as we go into the lecture part of this, which is a message from some. I thought it was going to be Amma, but it's not going to be Amma today. And to get up from your beds, but you could stay there if you want, whether you call it a bed or a massage table that is there. And if you prefer to sit in the best easy chair you can there in your lecture room now, and it can even be a green jade chair of healing, or it can be any color of any ray that you wish. Or you can just sit in it and ask, what's the best color for me, healing team? Whatever it is. And we ask our healing teams to please balance our encodement system so that we hear the truth within the message, that we see the truth in our lives and in the world, that we smell the aroma of love, that we are able to touch with love the creation that is around us, and that we can feel the enfoldment of love. Did I leave some? A taste? Taste that sweetness of joy and love and of the creation. And who's coming in is Amiya. If you haven't experienced Amiya before, they are a collection of wonderful beings that are Amma's healing friends. She always calls them her healing friends. They're the ones that told me their names. And by the way, their name, Amiya, is a short nickname for them. Their actual name must be about 10 syllables long, of which I could never remember. And Amma's healing friends work with people who are of a higher vibration. That doesn't mean that if you're not it's kind of like in the medical field, we have your people that work with, like orthopedics, work with the bone structure. And Amiya, they have specializations. And then if you're not of their specialization, they just call in who needs to be. It's an instant referral. So who comes to work with you has nothing to do with what you deserve, because you deserve the best of everything. They come in and work with you where you are. So I just want you to know that. But Amiya has, gosh, I guess they've channeled about 8 books, or they came in through me, about 8 different books. And they want to talk about healing in general. So there is that central pillar. Please send a beam of energy from your heart to the central pillar. And loving all of your wonderful energy, I ask you also to send a beam of energy from your heart to my heart. And the next one that you hear will be Amiya, Amma's healing friends. How wonderful to be with you. Did you know that Amma thinks very highly of you? She does. So does Abba, by the way, but we work with Amiya's energy more than with the masculine energy. But we enjoy listening to Abba laugh as Abba watches you as you grow and develop. And this one we speak through said that we were going to talk about healing in a way. Yes. We are going to talk about the primary way that you can achieve healing. And that is to believe deeply, completely, totally, as much as you possibly can, the preciousness of yourself and of those that you ask for healing for. When you work with people who are in the healing area, so those of you who are struggling with things such as cancer, this one likes to call an overgrowth of cells, or you are struggling with where a blood vessel has broken, or the heart, the physical heart is slowing down. One of the important things is to work with people as much as possible who are able to give to you love. You have people who are excellent technicians, wonderful technicians, but do not know how to relate to people. How do you handle that situation? So you were given how to protect yourself with the heart source and the sword and the violet flame. You who know how to do this, your job in the healing ceremony or in the healing area is to be in that space, whatever name you called it, that you can call upon yourself and use these words. Now expand to completely enfold my husband, my sister, my friend, so that your energy is enfolding someone else to form that protective energy so that your loved ones are not receiving the low vibration energy of someone's tiredness, of the argument they had with the car in front of them as they come in. What heals completely is love. And you cannot, as a human being, be in that place of love at all times. It is virtually impossible to be there unless you are an ascended being. And even ascended beings at times run into things where they have difficulty. It is not a fault or a failing. It is something that happens in learning how to be the love that you are. You have learned many tools, many ways of looking at the world, many commands or petitions that you can use with various beings, those from ourself, those from Amma, those from Hilarion, those from anyone that is channeled and with you. Know that all you have to do is to be there within your heart and to be conscious of the love which is there. To be conscious of the love that everyone has, even if they are not able to get in touch with it. You can surround medications, exercise machines, bandages with that love that is formed when you do your protection. Yes, send that wonderful energy that you have around your loved one. And every time there is a medication, an IV, physical therapy that occurs, send it around any instrument that is there. The source of healing is love. And to know that we are not talking about the emotion of love. We are talking about the energy of love. The emotion of love can very much be involved. But if you are sending healing protection energy for someone that you do not know, but somebody has asked you to pray for, you may not have the emotion of love for them because you do not have that relationship with them. But you have the energy of love that is there. And what is the difference between the two? The emotion of love can fail. And when I say it can fail, you can fail in having it. You may not have that emotion of love for someone. You could be so angry with someone that the emotion of love cannot come through you. But do not despair, because you have the energy of love. It is the energy of the creative love from which you were created. And when you move into your heart source, when you become the sword of the Archangel Michael, when you have around you the protective energy of the violet flame, you have brought around you and activated within you the creative energy from which you were created. And you, in your heart source, where you are there grounded above and below in love, you can send that energy. And as long as you are there within your heart source, the cares of the day, the hurt of the day, the anger, the disappointment, the betrayal that you may have felt with an individual is not there. Because in the heart source, think about heart source, you are in the midst of love, the energy of love, and you can transmit that energy of love to anyone. So those of you who have made a commitment to pray for or send healing, love, and light, know that all you need to do is to be in your heart source. And if you can, to add being the sword, to add the protection of the violet flame, and to send that love forth from you. You do not send your own energy. You'll wear yourself out. You are from the heart source, grounded above and below, and you bring that energy in, and then you send it outward, either from your heart or from your hands, wherever you wish to do that. And that energy does several things. Because you are in that space of protection, and you are part of that protection is the sword. And what does the sword do? It transmutes energy. It transmutes low vibration energy. Remember, you can say, I am the sword, and walk through a grocery store, and that wherever your energy is, it will clear low vibration energy from that space. And that is what you can do when someone you are with in the healing area, whether you are with them physically or not, you can send that energy to clear any low vibration energy around them. That includes from the doctor or the nurse who has had a bad day, or from the one who is pulling blood from the body, because everyone has bad days until they are able to stay firmly grounded above and below. When you have been gifted with gifts, when you have acquired knowledge of how to do these things, you have taken on the responsibility of using them. You have learned the heart source. You have learned about the sword. You have learned about the violet flame. That knowledge is not just to remain in your brain. It is to be used and to send out into the earth. When you have it ingrained within you, and it doesn't have to be ingrained 100%, when you have it ingrained within you, then responsibility comes to use it. Do not feel burdened by that responsibility. There are times that you may not be able, because of what is happening in your life, to stand firm in the heart source and to be able to use it in a responsible manner. There's no irresponsible way, just using it is the responsibility. And there may be times your energy is not strong. Call upon your healing team to assist you. Call upon your angels and guides to assist you. Call upon Amma. Call upon us, Amiya, to assist you. And in all humility, and what is humility? Speaking the truth about yourself. Help me. Help me to utilize the love that I have and that I am to give support to this person that I love, or to this person that I don't know but have been asked to pray for. And I said, yes, give me strength. Take the energy of my love, which I feel is diminished right now, and amplify it. Amplify it for me, so that although it may be a trickle coming from me, and that is all that I can do at this time, amplify it into a wonderful gush of energy, a wonderful gush of love at the vibration that whoever you are working with needs at that time. One of the things that happens in those who are healers, whether they be in traditional medicine or in another realm, is they have a tendency to experience for themselves that they have failed if someone has not gotten well. Your job, to call it a job, is not to heal someone. That is between spirit and the person involved, because you don't know if that job of healing happens to be getting ready for them to come home. Your job, using the word job, is to be grounded in love and to send them that love at the vibration that they need. You don't have to know what their dis-ease or illness is. You do not have to know what caused it. You do not have to know how far back it went in their lives or in their families' lives or in their genetics. All you have to know is that they are a being of love who needs that energy of love. And you know how to send it to them. You know more than most of how to send it to them. And just in case you think you don't, use that name that you came up with to place yourself instantaneously within your heart source and to be the sword and to call upon the violet flame. Use that name now. It will only strengthen you if you are still in that space. Know that you are expanding at the same time to the further reaches of yourself. And now hold someone in your mind, in your heart. See them before you, even if you do not know what they look like. You see their energy. You feel the love from which they are created. And now say a prayer, if that's what you like to call it. And ask that you be able to send the love that they need at the vibration that they need. And if you are feeling energetically weak or tired, ask for assistance. And send that energy from your heart to them. Form a beam of energy from you to their heart. And just send it. And know that as you are sending this energy, there is energy coming into you, the universal energy, the creative energy that is coming into you from above and below, out to that person. And you can send it to groups. You don't have to send it to just one person, although when you have someone special in your life, you do. Some of you may be feeling that love leaving you and going to another and wrapping them up with love. You can do this also for those who are caring for your loved ones, doctors or nurses, attendants of any kind, to fill them with the love that they need, as they may need healing from their sense of failure if someone did not heal, because they don't know what their role actually was to accompany someone. If you experience the feelings in yourself that you're not doing enough, ask for healing of that. Again, it is not your job to heal another. It is your job, from the responsibility you take from all that you have learned, to send love. And once you have done that, your responsibility is over. Love goes where it needs to go. It balances where there needs to be balance. And you do not know the life plan of the other person. You leave that in the hands of the Creator and of their soul self. I hope these words have helped you. I hope these words have enkindled within you what your responsibility is now that you have these tools. You will be led in how to use them. If something comes into you of reading an article about something, is I wonder if I should send love in that way to this person, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So you have the tools. You can call upon those that are surrounding you if you need assistance in amplifying your energy. Oh, and the last thing, know that you are love. Our blessings to you. So this is Kathy. I had no idea what they were going to say, but that's pretty cool, isn't it? Does anybody have any comments or anything they want to say about what they have heard? It's okay if you don't. So I want to thank you for coming to today's Sunday ceremony. I am always blessed deeply by your being here and facilitating for me to be able to bring in such beautiful energies. Thank you so much. Take care. Many blessings. Much love. If you want to unmute yourselves and tell everybody goodbye so they can hear you, kind of like leaving a space, please do so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
This was
Good luck,
wonderful.
Karen.
Really
Bless
was
you.
wonderful.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.